Hello and welcome. You have tuned into Market Fatafat on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me as always is Ankita Saxena. And viewers, this is the show where in the next 1 hour we're going to be highlighting all the buzzers in trade right now. We'll also connect with our expert for today as well as we'll also be joined by our researcher. But before that, let's have a quick look what the markets are up to. So Ankita, I have to say that there's nothing happening on the index level, though a while back there was some recovery. The recovery fizzled out and it's almost flat gains for both the benchmark indices, but it's the IT pack that is seen to be making a decent comeback.
Absolutely, Shrishti. As you mentioned, we did manage to stage that recovery, but we're absolutely flat now on the index level. In fact, Nifty is flip-flopping between red and the green, and so is Nifty Bank also, which is flip-flopping between red and green. But like you mentioned, the IT pack is really making a comeback. In fact, this sectoral churn is really giving a big boost to IT stocks, especially Tech Mahindra, that is really buzzing on the back of the CLSA note that has come out. Couple of other stocks that are in focus today. Of course, the auto pack is in focus because the auto sales numbers are also trickling in. Ashok Leyland, M&M, all in focus. And a bit of a positive surprise, Shrishti, you mentioned on the auto sales number is also what we are seeing. But PB Fintech is in focus today on the back of Jeffries note. We have Kalpataru, we have India Glycols that has really managed to hold on to strong gains today. It was trading with gains of almost 8%. This NCC on the back of order win. There's Blue Dart. That's in focus today. Strong volumes coming on Punjab National Bank, Asian Paints, Bajaj Auto, all trading with strong volumes there. But largely the market breadth, if you see, it's still tilted towards in favor of the advances, but largely a very pretty flattish day on the benchmark indices is what I would say.
All right, that's the way how the markets are panning out at this point in time. But with this, viewers, let's move on and let's connect with our experts for today. And on that, we are being joined by Osho Krishan on the technical front. Osho is joining us as being a part of Angel One. Hi, Osho. Very good afternoon. We'll come to you, but let me also welcome Ria as well, who's joining us on the research side. So we'll try to get more stocks that are buzzing from you both. But Ankita, firstly, since we were just talking about the IT space, what a move there. But what's happening with Tech Mahindra, Ankita?
Well, yes, Tech Mahindra is leading from the front as far as the IT pack is concerned. And in fact, it rallied 4.2% in the morning. It is holding on to gains of 2.8% right now. It is on the back of the fact that the global brokerage firm CLSA has upgraded the stock to outperform rating from an earlier hold rating. And the target price that they've set is 1,749 rupees per share. Now, this target price indicates an upside potential of 11% from the stock's closing price on Monday. Now, following a recent price correction, CLSA has upgraded the stock, noting the initial signs of execution on the EBIT margin seems to be improving there. And also additionally, the brokerage firm believes that they mentioned that it's the lack of a major uptick in order bookings lately has been a bit of a disappointment, but a clear focus on the BFSI, healthcare and manufacturing sectors implies a balanced product offering for the company. And on the back of that, they have upgraded the stock to outperform from a hold. And on the back of that, Tech Mahindra is leading the IT pack from the front.
Well, certainly that's about Tech Mahindra. But moving on, let's also talk about Piramal Pharma then, because from the pharma pack, this stock has been in buzzing. And in the latest, the company has announced $80 million of expansion for their Sterlite injectable facility in Kentucky. And this is indeed a positive news flow coming in for Piramal Pharma, because just a while back, we did have the Analyst meet takeaways from Piramal Pharma management, where the company has set very ambitious targets for 2030, because for 2030, that's maybe next in the 5 to 6 years, they're looking to double their revenue and grow their EBITDA by 3 times. And on the back of that, we have already seen a lot of excitement trickling in for Piramal Pharma. But keeping in that with the journey, now the company is looking at the expansion spree, and the latest capex has been announced for their Kentucky plant, and that too in the Sterlite injectable facility, which indeed is a high margin business. So on the back of this news flow, Piramal Pharma is indeed in focus.
All right, coming to you, Osho, Canfin Homes is what you've picked out for us. Tell us, what are you seeing on the charts for this counter? Last 1 month, not much of a move coming in on this counter, but do you see this counter give a breakout now?
Very good afternoon to both of you, and firstly, thank you for having me at the show. Well, now coming to the technical perspective of Canfin Homes, then this counter have seen a very strong movement from the zone of nearly 780, 800 odd levels towards the zone of 950, and again have retracted approximately 50% from the highs. So in the last 2-3 trading sessions, there has been decent buying in this counter. And once again, the counter is showcasing an attempt to move towards the zone of 950. So this is a very important zone where one should try to accumulate it, because the time it gives a breakout above 950, then from there onwards we can see a very drastic upsurge in this counter. So currently it is having a very strong reversal from a very strong support of 20-day exponential moving average, but even it has a very higher target from medium term perspective. Immediately 950 can be seen as the short term target. Post it, approximately 1020 to 1050 can be seen in this counter from short to medium term time frame.
All right, that's about Can Fin Homes. But Ria, take us through what's happening with Blue Dart and why the surge in this particular stock today.
Yes, so Blue Dart is one of the big buzzers in trade today, since the company has implemented a general price increase with effect from the 1st of January 2025. Now, this average price increase is going to be in the range of 9 to 12% depending on the product variabilities and the shipping profile. But the customers who sign up between the 1st of October and 31st of December will be exempt from the price increase. And this announcement is coming just days after the industry peer All Cargo Gati had also announced a 10.2% average general price increase starting from the 1st of January. And on the back of this news flow, Blue Dart is now up more than 6% in trade.
All right, moving on to another buzzer in trade, Angel One. In fact, the share gained over 4% today, a day after the discount broking firm revised the brokerage charges for cash and equity delivery transactions. The brokerage charges will be levied at a flat 20 rupees or 0.1% plus GST, whichever is low as per the executed order. A minimum brokerage of rupees 2 per transaction will be levied. The company said that in a statement, and Angel One was offering the lowest brokerage rate and other charges in comparison to other discount brokerages. But however, Angel One will not charge any brokerage or cash for cash delivery. The move comes after both National Stock Exchange and BSE revised their own transaction charges starting from 1st of October, moving to a true to label fee structure instead of a slab-wise fee structure, as was the case earlier. Now, Angel One's management informed that the transaction to a new fee structure would reduce its revenue by 8%. However, the implementing a brokerage fee of rupees 20 per order could help offset this impact of transactions. So on the back of that news flow, Angel One is trading with gains of 2.5% right now.
All right, that's about Angel One. We're moving on. Osho, take us through what's happening with Canara Bank despite the fall in the Nifty Bank for the past couple of days. Canara Bank was holding for itself. So take us through what's happening here and how do you see the stock moving ahead?
See, overall, the technical structure of Canara Bank has seen some kind of corrective measures, but overall, we are witnessing a kind of reversal from the very strong support of 200-day SMA. So Canara Bank being a PSU, I am expecting that from here onwards, there can be a gradual upshift in the trend or trend reversal that can be seen in Canara Bank. On immediate basis, the support is very nearby, approximately 105 to 106 is a very strong support for this counter. While on the higher end, there can be a slow and gradual move towards the zone of 120 to 124 in short-term period. So overall, there is a kind of trend reversal that we can see in this counter, and one can try to accumulate it from short to medium-term time frame.
All right, keeping with the banking name then, from Canara Bank to Bank of Maharashtra. Ria, you picked out Bank of Maharashtra for us. Tell us what's the news flow here.
Yes, so Bank of Maharashtra is in focus today since they have approved a QIP of rupees 3,500 crores and they are aiming to raise rupees 1,750 crores through the base issue with an additional rupees 1,750 crores via a green shoe option, potentially selling up to 61 crore shares, which is 8.6% of the stake through this QIP, and the floor price has been set at rupees 60.37 per share, but the bank may offer up to a 5% discount on the floor price. And this issue opened yesterday on the 30th of September, but right now the stock is seeing some selling pressure, trading on a flat note at the moment.
All right, that's about Bank of Maharashtra. But Osho, the whole agrochemical and the chemical space has seen a lot of movement today. And one such breakout candidate is Chambal Fertilizers. Tell us, how are you spotting this on the technical front and what are the next targets that one should eye at?
See, overall, as you have mentioned, that whole fertilizer company or space is looking very positive. but specifically to Chambal Fertilizer, we are witnessing a multi-week or multi-day breakout in this counter, approximately around the zone of 525 to 530, which was a very strong resistance for this counter. But in today's session, there has been a drastic upsurge by the day started, and from there onwards we are witnessing a follow-up buying in this counter. So I'm expecting that this will sustain on the higher levels, and on immediate basis the target of consolidation breakout comes around the zone of 580 585. So one can definitely accumulate this counter from short-term perspective for the targets of nearly 580 to 85.
All right, viewers, with that, it's time for a quick breather. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we're getting you some more buzzers in trade.
Welcome back to Market Fatafat, a show where we are highlighting all the buzzers in trade right now. And the next up is Exide Industries, because Osho is tracking that on the charts. Because Osho, what we have seen is that from all the way to 600 levels, the stock was down to 450. But what a rebound in the past 3 days. So Osho, do you believe that this particular move is sustainable, as well as what are the next stops for Exide Industries?
See, overall, the reversal in this counter, as you have mentioned, in the last 3 days, there has been very strong movement in this counter, and it has given a sloping trendline breakout and has also emerged above all its exponential moving averages, short-term moving averages. And there has been positive crossovers on the technical developments from the oversold territory. So all the parameters are suggesting a trend reversal in this counter. And in the last 3 sessions, the buying traction has been backed by decent increase in trading volume. So all these parameters set to be a very strong bullish sentiment with Exide Industry, and I expect that from here onwards the counter has the potential to retest the zone of 545 followed by 565 and 70 in the coming period. So for short term perspective, one can definitely try to gauge the momentum in Exide.
All right, moving on to the other counter that is in focus today, and that is Tata Power is in focus today, because the Tata Group has confirmed that they have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Rajasthan government for a 10-year plan totaling nearly 1.2 lakh crore rupees in power distribution, transmission and renewables. Now, this ambitious 10-year plan aims to support Rajasthan's transformation into power surplus state, providing 24/7 clean, affordable and reliable power supply with investments in renewable energy projects and manufacturing, transmission, distribution, nuclear power, rooftop installation and EV charging. Now, the MOU will place Rajasthan at the heart of nation's clean energy transition, contributing significantly to India's energy goals. That's the word coming in from Tata Group. And on the back of that, Tata Power is in focus today. It has given up all those morning gains. Currently, is trading absolutely flat in the red with cuts of 0.01%.
All right, but nevertheless, speaking of the capex, then Vijaya Raghavan Swaminathan, who is the Executive Director, Equity Research at Avendus Spark in Institutional Equities, says that the best of the government capex growth is largely behind us, and the private capex theme is yet to play out. Let's go across and listen into him.
If you look at the last 6 months, what we have been recommending is the government is clearly very particular about consolidating their fiscal deficit targets. So as a result, both central government capex and state government capex, incremental growth is going to moderate. This is pretty much our thesis pretty much at the start of the year. But that will get balanced out by combination of private capex recovery. So what we are effectively trying to say is the best of the government capex growth is largely behind us, whereas the best of the private capex is still not played out in our assessment, especially from the large sectors like power, metals, semiconductors kind of sectors are meaningfully participate in a private sector capex recovery.
All right, but moving on, let's talk about PB Fintech then, because that's the next stock that we have been tracking. Because today, Jefferies has come out with a note while maintaining their buy rating. The target price that they have set for PB Fintech is 1800 rupees. What they are saying is that the management clarification is there. They are planning one-time investment of up to $100 million for the much-awaited new healthcare venture. The investment for a 20 to 35% stake could be there in this particular new venture that they are looking forward to. And this clarification also addresses the core concern around the company's balance sheet remaining asset light, because just a while back you can see, or you can also get a note that the PB Fintech has a stock after they announced this whole particular venture or the new idea. that the company was looking into, the stock corrected significantly. Now, Jefferies also say that this is one of the preferred plays on the Indian insurance growth, and core engineers remains in the high growth orbit. So that's why they still tend to like this particular stock, maintaining their buy rating and target price set at 1800 rupees.
Right, and in fact, we also had the management of PB Fintech clear the air around the report on their healthcare foray. We had Yashish Dahiya, who's the chairman, and Alok Bansal, who's the CEO, who mentioned that the company plans to make this one-time investment of $100 million. Let's go across and take a look at what they had to say about it.
Policy Bazaar is an investor investing between $0 to $100 million. And yes, you can argue it is investing in an asset-heavy model. That does not make Policy Bazaar itself an asset-heavy model. That is less than 1% of our market capitalization is going in this direction. So this will also in some way go in a franchise model. However, at the initial stage within the National Capital Region, it has to be a controlled experience where, because you want to give a great customer experience, you have to in some way own the assets. Now, that does not mean PB Fintech is owning the assets. I want to clarify this. Let us, for lack of a better word, call this XYZ company. This XYZ company in the initial 3-4 years owns a lot of its assets. This model is very well proven all over the world. It is called a HMO model.
All right, that's about PB Fintech. The stock is also holding on to the gains of 5% as of now. But moving on, let's talk about SAIL then, because from the metal pack, Osho is tracking this particular stock. And Osho, take us through how you're looking at the charts, because though it was a tepid start for the metal counters, but once again in the past couple of hours, they are catching the steam yet again.
A candidate from the metal space, because majority the metal space is witnessing a very strong buying traction, but this counter has been hovering near a very strong support zone. But on technical fronts, we are witnessing a sloping trendline breakout, and that is also near the 200-day simple moving average. So that's a very positive intake from the technical front. So I'm expecting that from here onwards, there will be a gradual up move in this counter. Approximately 152 to 155 is the immediate resistance for this counter, but the time it surpasses the zone of 155, then you can see some kind of strong traction for the zone of 165 to 70. So overall, from risk reward point of view, the counter is placed at a very decent zone, and one can definitely try to accumulate it from short to medium term time.
All right, moving on to the gold loan names that Riya, you have picked out for us. Tell us what is the news flow here, and why are they buzzing?
Yes, well, the gold loan companies are in focus today since the RBI has observed several irregular practices in loans against the pledge of gold ornaments and jewelry. Now, they have found shortcomings in the use of third parties for sourcing and appraisal of gold loans, and regulated entities have reportedly been undertaking valuation of gold without the presence of the customer. The RBI has also found inadequate due diligence and lack of end use of monitoring of gold loans, and they have also found weaknesses in monitoring of loan to value ratios of gold loans and incorrect application of risk weights. And because of this, the RBI has asked the regulated entities to comprehensively review their policies, processes and practices on gold loans. And reacting to this news, the likes of Muthoot Finance and Manappuram Finance are reacting negatively, down about 2 to 3% in trade today.
All right, that's about the gold finances companies. Why are they in focus in today's trading session? But Ankita, a lot's been happening with NTPC, no stopping there.
Absolutely. In fact, NTPC, let's see what's the news flow coming here. NTPC is in focus today. In fact, it has given up all the morning gains. It seems like all the counters are giving up all their morning gains. In fact, it is trading absolutely flat right now with cuts of 0.08%. But NTPC is in focus today because they have signed an MOU with the government of Rajasthan for the development of 25 gigawatts of RE project, and on the back of this order win, NTPC is in focus today.
Well, certainly for today there has been some blip, but Ankita can't take their eyes off from NTPC since there's been a lot of buzz regarding that NTPC green energy idea as well. So that's one of the other triggers that is been helping NTPC. But apart from that, let's also hear out from Vikash Prasad and Deepika Mundra of MNG Investments, where they believe that the AC demand will push power needs higher. They also like the transmission theme in the power space. Let's go across and listen into them.
air conditioner related power demand and the infrastructure required for that. India's air conditioner penetration is less than 10%. Whether it's 6 or 8 doesn't matter. It's headed towards 20, 30, 40, 50. So when you think about the affordability that brings, the power infrastructure that needs, you look at that entire supply chain. We've met companies in the T&D space also, transmission, distribution, less on the generation side. That whole supply chain, for the long term, this opportunity is going to be around for a very long time.
So the demand for power is going to remain elevated, and utilization levels at the generation level are high, so which is driving the need for capex across all levels. You will see more generation capex, particularly renewables. I think that's already kicked off. But the space that we most like is the transmission space. We think it's fuel agnostic, execution is better, it's shorter term execution. Every time the government comes up with a plan, they bump it up. And that's because the flow of generation of power is different. It's more renewables, which is more transmission intensive. So that's the one we like most.
All right, moving on then. Syngene is the counter that you have picked out for us. Osho, tell us, what are you seeing on the charts for Syngene? I mean, if you look at the charts, it is heading towards its probably its 52-week high. Tell us, will it reclaim those levels?
See, as you have mentioned, the counter was into some kind of profit booking from the higher zone of approximately 945, 946 odd levels. But in the last 2 trading sessions, the counter is again attracting strong buying traction from the 20-day exponential moving average, and that has been backed by volumes. So I'm expecting that once again the counter can see the zone of 945 to 950 in the short-term period. But major development can happen beyond that, that if it crosses 945 on the decisive or on a closing basis, then we can see another rally of 45 to 50 odd points. So 945, a breakout above 945 can give a target of nearly 1,000 for short-term traders.
All right, that's about Syngene, but Ria, take us through what's the news flow around Tata Steel.
Yes, so Tata Steel is in focus today since the company has said that they are going to be ceasing operations at the Blast Furnace 4 along with other associated iron and steel making assets at Port Talbot, which is the UK's largest steel plant, bringing an end to iron making at the site. However, they've also said that steel making at this site will resume in 2027 or 28 through the investment of 1.25 billion euros in the electric arc furnace based steel making using a UK sourced scrap steel. Now, Tata Steel's planned 750 million euro investment in low CO2 green steel making will be augmented by the 500 million euro grant funding agreement which was recently signed with the UK government. But reacting to this negative news today, the stock is down almost 2% in trade right now.
All right, with that, it's time for us to slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more stocks and news.
At L'Oréal Group,
there comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.